Yo, so in this video, I'm going to be letting you guys know what, in my opinion, is the best Team Affinity Season 2 division to be going after, or maybe the first division you guys, I think, should go after for Team Affinity Season 2 here in MLB 21. If you're watching this video right now, be sure to leave a like, subscribe on the road to 100,000 subscribers. In the comment section below, maybe let me know, in your opinion, the best divisions to go for Team Affinity 2. Twin Gaming TV on Twitch, link in the description, as well as my Twitter and Instagram. Be sure to check out all of those. And one thing I want to say, maybe a couple things I want to say before we actually get into this video. All of this is my own personal opinion. This is not necessarily the right answer or the wrong answer. It's just my personal opinion. And then, as always with my videos, you know, I'm making these hopefully helping at least one person. If that's the case, it always makes me a little bit happy. So the order, I have them written down, and I'm going to go into a little bit more details. I'm going to focus on why I think the certain division is the best and why I think a certain division is the worst, and then just kind of in general why I ranked the divisions the way that I did. So from best to worst, okay, I'm starting with the best, then going second best, and then we're going to end on the worst division, in my opinion, to be going for Team Affinity Season 2. And again, all personal preference. I have no idea what anybody else's teams are like. I feel like this is heavily dependent on your team, what you need for your team, pitching, infield, outfield, if you like power versus contact, or you like contact or speed, fielding, you know, it's all about personal preference. This is my own opinion, and I'm hoping it helps out, though, at least one or two people out there. So number one out of 6, obviously, number 1, I have the NL East at my number 1. Number 2, I have the AL West. And then tied for third, I have the AL Central and the AL East. In 4th place, I have the NL West. And then in 5th place, I have the NL Central. So again, the only reason there's 5 places is because the East and Central are tied for third. If I had to choose between the two, I think I would probably put the Central above the East, but they're going to be tied for third for me. Again, NL East being the best in my opinion, and NL Central being the worst. Now for me, the NL East is by far the best division. The way I rank this are the teams and the divisions where I feel like the players are ones that I would really want versus ones I don't think I would want or would use for that long. The NL East had the most players and has the most players where I feel like, yes, I want that card. And then the NL Central has the least amount of players where I'm like, yes, I want that card. So looking specifically at the NL East and why I think it's the best. Again, this is based on the bosses or whatever. This is not based on anything else. It's not based on the henchmen from this pack or anything. This is based on these cards alone. And out of this division, I have some notes here. So if you see me looking over here, I got some notes just because I don't want to hopefully get anything wrong for what I'm talking about. Also, hopefully I'm not talking a little bit too fast. I know I sometimes do that a bit. But for the NL East, okay, the only card out of these where I'm like, I don't want that card, the only one is Jackson Rutledge. This is a card that just does not look great to me. I'm not a big fan of his pitch selection. His velocity control and his per 9 are all pretty good, but I would just prefer, you know, somebody with a sinker, maybe a cutter, a little bit higher velo, a little bit higher control. But he's not a bad card by any means. Just compared to the others, he's the one I would want least in this division. Cliff Lee, love his pitch selection, love the break, hits per 9 is good, stamina is good, velocity a little bit on the lower side, but I feel like, at least for me, that is made up for in control. I'm somebody who uses pinpoint pitching, and having that control with Cliff Lee is going to be amazing, especially once I start paralleling the card. I can get that control up to 99. So he's looking really solid for me. This might just be the best Team Affinity card, in my opinion, for me. A switch hitting shortstop, also plays third base, with diamond fielding, diamond hitting that has 80 or higher power versus both sides, nearly 90 or higher contact versus both sides, 80 vision, 62 speed, just a really well-rounded card that can also switch hits. So this card looks amazing to me. We got Edward Cabrera for the Marlins. High velo, which is huge. Control's not bad. Breaks good. Hits per 9's really good. Pitch selection, fire. And then Hank Aaron. Diamond hitting, diamond fielding, decent speed. Power going to be above 80 versus both sides. Once you get the card to parallel 3, it's going to be 80 or higher. Contact at 85 and 125. Just a really well-rounded card. A good fielder, pretty solid speed, good power and contact, especially versus lefties. And once you parallel him, his power is going to be 80 or higher versus both sides. Once you get him to parallel 3, you can still get it up to 4 or a 5 as well. So just a really, really good division. Not really a weak spot. If I had to choose one, it would be Jackson Rutledge. So in my opinion, that is why the NL East is the best division. There's just 5 really good cards and 4 for me that I really, really want on my team. Now, taking a look at the NL Central, the reason I feel like this is the worst division in my opinion. I know I'm going a little bit backwards. You know, most people would probably go 1 and then 2, 3, 4, but I figure I could go best and worst, at least to start. The only card, literally there is one card from this division I want, and that is going to, oh my bad, that is going to be Quinn Priester. Probably pronouncing names wrong. I suck at pronouncing names. Quinn Priester from the Pirates. Everybody else in this division, I'm like, I don't really want for my team. So taking a look at Mark Prior from the Cubs, I don't like the pitch selection. I don't like the velo. Control's okay. Hits per 9 is not great. Breaks pretty solid. Stamina's good, but just not really looking like somebody that I want in my starting rotation. Johnny Bench, catcher, also plays first and third base. Power versus righties scares me a lot, man. That's really low because I'm facing mostly right-handed pitching, and most of my runs come from homers. Now, with that being said, really good contact versus both sides. Great power versus lefties. Great vision. Great fielding for a catcher. So this is not a bad card. And just because I say I don't want a card, again, it's all personal preference. It does not mean they are a bad card. But for me, I face a lot of right-handed pitching. I hit a lot of home runs to score my runs. And that power versus righties being pretty low just scares me. And I would rather use somebody else at catcher over Johnny Bench. Then we have the Brewers. Bryce Terang, shortstop, also plays second. Really good fielding, really good speed, really good contact, but low power. And guys like him, Kenny Lofton, Ichiro when he was in the game, Tony Gwynn, these are cards that I just don't really like using because if I make good contact, it seems to be a line out or a fly out, right? I hit a lot of homers to score my runs, so it seems like I'm mostly under the ball or right on it. And with guys like this, where the power is not high, but the contact is, it seems like I'm just lining out or flying out, and I would rather use somebody with some more pop in their bat at shortstop than Bryce Terang. We got Quinn. This is the only guy in the division where I'm like, yes, I want to try this guy on my team. Starting pitcher. I love the pitch selection, having a slider to go with the sinker, with the 97 velo, 97 break, 94 hits per 9, 83 control. Just a well-rounded card. I'm loving the velo. I'm loving the pitch selection. I hope the control is good enough. I feel like it should be. And I'm struggling to find starting pitching that I like. I'm hoping that he can make my rotation. I at least want to try him out in there. And then as a Cardinals fan, I was a little bit disappointed by this Joe Torre. Great contact, obviously maxed down already versus both sides without even paralleling him. The defense isn't bad, especially if you parallel this card. He can play third base as his primary, but also has catcher and first base secondary. Speed's okay. I don't know where I would put him on my team. Power versus lefty scares me. I would rather use somebody with power that's 80 or higher versus both sides, or at least a little bit higher than that versus lefties. So I don't really see myself putting him at third base, catcher, or first base. So that is, in my opinion, the best division to do, the NL East, and the worst division, the NL Central. I'm not going to go as in-depth about the East, Central, West, and West real quick, but for the rest of the video, I'm just going to look at them and show you which cards from each division I think are worth getting and are the ones that I would go for in those divisions. And I'm thinking in the next few days I'm going to have a video where I rank the cards, maybe 1 through 30, but at least do like a top 10, like, hey, these are the top 10 cards, doesn't matter what division, the top 10 cards in my opinion you should be going for from Team Affinity Season 2. So now I'm just going to go in order, right? NL East is the best in my opinion. The second team we have in my opinion is the AL West. And I know I'm probably talking a lot this video, but there's a lot that I want to say. I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time, so I'm trying to get it through it as fast as possible. And in the AL West, okay, I'm not going to go as in depth about these cards as the others, but in the AL West, the cards that I would personally go for, that I want to go for, are Roy Oswalt, maybe, but his hits per 9 scares me because that's going to make the PCI a little bit bigger. Hits per 9 is what shrinks your opponent's PCI. So pitch selection, velo, stamina, everything like that's looking good for me. Control, break. However, the hits per 9 with Roy Oswalt scared me, so he's iffy for me. And then Torrey Hunter, yes. With the downgrade to Acuna's contact versus righties, Torrey Hunter, I need him. I need him super bad. Good speed, diamond fielding, arm is not bad by any means, reaction's good, power is good versus both sides, contact's there, vision's there. A really, really good looking card, and I feel like I've never seen this good of a Torii Hunter card in the game before, so I really want to get him, and he might be my replacement for Ronald Acuna Jr. if I start struggling with him. For me, Robert Paulson's a no, Edgar Martinez is a no, and Sam Huff is a yes. I do want to try him at a catcher. Diamond fielding, speed's not bad, over 100 power versus both sides. You know me, if you don't by now, I love my home runs. 80 and 91 for the contact, so that's still not bad either. And he's somebody that I want to try on at catcher. He looks like he could be solid. So for me, Sam Huff and Torii Hunter, especially Torii Hunter, are the go-tos in this division, with Royale as well being iffy. It really depends on how he does with that lower hits per 9. So that's the AL West. For me, they are second place, and then we have the Central and the East in the American League tied for third. If I had to choose one, I would probably pick the Central above the East, but again, same thing. They're pretty much tied. So taking a look at the cards in the AL Central, for me, the yeses are Garrett Crochet and Jim Thome. Isaac Paredes, don't really want this card. Power's a little bit low for me. Johnny Damon, power's way too low. It's the same thing with Tony Gwynn and some other guys where I just feel like I pop out and hit line drives. Jordan Balazovic, I don't know how to pronounce that name. Don't really like the pitch selection. Don't really like the velo. Hits per 9, control, break is not bad, but pitch selection and that velo scare me a bit. So the two cards I want from this division are Garrett Crochet, starting pitcher. I wish it was a reliever, but starting pitcher, 99 velo, 99 break, 97 hits per 9. Again, all these cards can be paralleled. 79 control isn't bad. Pitch selection, a little iffy. I love cutters. I love sinkers. However, he does have a slider, change, and four seam, which are 3 of my most used pitches as well. So I really want to try him with his high velo, high hits per 9, get him on my rotation, see how he does. I love the reliever version. I feel like I should like this version as well. I think his fastball gets up to 102 miles an hour for that four seam, so that's going to be nasty. Kind of like Michael Kopech a little bit, except lefties are always hard for people to hit, I feel like. And then we got Jim Thome, the other card from this division that I want. Only plays first base, and his fielding is low, which is kind of a downside, but his bat's really good. 125 power versus righties, 100 versus lefties, 119 and 74 for the contact, 52 vision, which is a little bit low. So for me, he's kind of like, yes, I would like to try him at first base, see how he does. I don't think I'm going to put him over David Ortiz, but I feel like for a free first baseman, I feel like he's a really good choice. And you're going to struggle probably lefty v lefty anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that contact being super low. But I would say Garrett Crochet is definitely my number 1 in the division. Jim Thome my number 2 behind him. Pretty big gap between the two, but still looks like a solid card to me. And then we have the AL East. From this division, my number 1 and 2 cards. There's only 2 cards in this division that I would really go after, and that's going to be Jimmy Fox and then Jordan Groshans from the Blue Jays. Taking a look at the cards I don't like. Cal Ripken Jr., power versus righty scares me. Fielding's really good. Speed's not great. But I feel like there's guys I would rather have at shortstop that are a little bit more balanced on the power side of things. Lou Gehrig, I feel like they did him dirty, man. I don't know why that power is super low. I feel like I saw his stats from that postseason on Twitter, and he did really good versus both righties and lefties. So fielding, not great. Hitting, really not that great, except for the contact versus righties. Just a little bit disappointed by that card. Shane McClanahan, pitch selection, nothing that really stands out to me. Again, I know, it's similar to Garrett Crochet. His velo's 92. It's still high. Control's not bad. Breaks good. Hits per 9 solid. That's actually good. Hits per 9 is good. But just didn't really stand out to me. There's other starting pitchers I would rather have than him, but he's by no means a bad card. Jordan Groshans. I need help pronouncing names. Great contact, over 100 versus both sides. Great power versus both sides. Vision's good. Diamond defense, 70 speed. A really good option for shortstop. Somebody that I definitely want to try, see how he does. So a really solid looking card. And then another guy that I like, Jimmy Fox, has a great swing. Power is great versus both sides. Contact, once you parallel him versus righties, going to be up to 80 at that superfractor. Already at 116 versus lefties. Fielding, not great, but he's a first baseman. Catcher, secondary, and a third base. I know some people like putting him at catcher. I just don't think I could do it with his defense being that low. However, could be a good first base option. Maybe a bench bat right there. Jimmy Fox, I'm always a fan of his cards and his swing, so that's why he's somebody that I would go after. And then the final division that I want to talk about in this video is the NL West. They are Second to last place for me. Central just a little bit worse in my opinion. And the main card that I would go after in the NL West is going to be this Willie Mays card. I don't really want Tony Gwynn, Josiah Gray, or Dante Bichette. And Brandon Webb for me, velo scares me. Hits per 9 scares me. His pitch selection, though, really good. Sinker, cutter, change, four-seam curveball. Really good pitch selection to go with the 99 break and his 83 control. That's huge. But same with Roy Oswalt. Hits per 9 a little bit low for me. And then this card, unlike Roy, the velocity scares me a bit. So I gave him an iffy. He's kind of like, yes, I would like to try him out and just see how he does for me. Dante Bichette being a right fielder or left fielder, fielding way too low for me. The bat's amazing. I feel like this card art is fantastic, and I feel like he would be a really, really good bench bat. I just don't think I could ever start him in my outfield over somebody with better fielding, because that scares me, and I know he would cost me some runs and piss me off in ranked seasons. Josiah Gray, velo, not what I want it to be. Control, not bad. Break, really good. Hits per 9, really good. I just prefer sinkers, cutters, and stuff when it comes to my pitch selection. Not a bad looking card, just not really what I wanted from a starting pitcher. And the reason I don't really want him is because there's guys that I would rather have. Tony Gwynn, high contact, low power, great vision, pretty solid speed, good defense. And the main reason I don't want him, I feel like I would line out or fly out all the time. So the main card, pretty much the only card that I'm truly like, yes, this is one I want on my team, is going to be this Willie Mays card. Center field, also plays left and right. Diamond defense, great speed with 78 for being an all-star card, for being a 94 overall. I'm happy with that speed to go along with the 97 and 77 contact, and 85 and 89 power and 89 vision. A well-rounded card, good hitting stats, especially once you parallel them, you get that contact a little bit higher versus lefties. Gonna have good fielding, great fielding, honestly, for you in the outfield to go along with some solid speed. 83 once you max on his parallel. So that is my division rankings. That took a little bit longer than I expected to for this video. I thought I was pretty much going to be like, hey, NL East number 1, AL West number 2, AL Central and East number 3, NL Central last place, and then NL West right before him. So I thought this video was going to be a little bit faster. I'm sorry if it was long. I know I talked a ton, but I just really wanted to be specific, as detailed as possible, help you all understand why I made the decisions that I did and ranked them the way that I did. So like, comment, subscribe. I gotta go get my mouth a rest, my voice a rest, because I just talked way too much. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said at the beginning, I hope it helped down at least one person. Like, comment, subscribe, social medias, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace out.